What is up there, Workforce? Chris here with Work to Game, and I just hit level 80 on Botanist, and I wanted to share how easy this has been. I think you could do it in under 6 hours, most likely under 5, but 6 is the amount of playtime that it has really taken me, and you're going to need 60 leaves. The place you check that is in here, these allowances here in the journal. If you want to do this method all the way through, you're going to need this to read greater than 60 per gathering class. I don't know if Fisher works any different, but I can't imagine it does. But for Miner and Botanist, 6 hours and 60 leaves, you're going to be off to the races. Now, the other thing you're going to need is a decent gear set. The best gear set you could have is actually this Land King set from level 70. I haven't even replaced my primary secondary from level 70. And you get this from script vendors. Keep in mind that your red scripts go to yellow scripts at the script exchange there at the top of the hill in Mordona. And then you can go to the level 70 script vendor there in Rogers, and you should be able to buy this gear. Now, if you don't have scripts, this armorer here actually has a Fieldcraft area, and they sell 71s all the way up to 77s and even your 80s in many of these slots. So you don't have to go over here to the market board in the Crystarium and pay anywhere from 2 to 5 times as much. Side note, if you want to make money, there's a whole lot of people that are not willing to run up this set of stairs right here to basically pay the markup when the tooltip says that the shop selling price is so much less. But be sure to go up there because the difference between normal quality and high quality will not matter for the purpose of leveling here. You don't even need to slot materia. Leveling is just that fast. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the Crystalline mean. Now, the Crystalline mean, remember, has been broken into 5 categories. 3 for crafting, 1 for botanist and miner, and 1 for fisher. You're going to need to do these quests because they are a huge chunk of experience and may cut down the level of leaves depending on what consumables and things like that you have available to you, because we're going to be modifying that experience to make this go even faster. The gathering one over here is on the left side, and it's right here. You just turn this in. It's going to be available every other level, and they're going to ask for 18 of the item. So 18 of the items like this, you're going to know that you've collected the right item because it is going to be market prohibited, and the high quality are going to result in kind of double the experience, but they're a ton of experience either way. Just make sure you gather up 18. They are only done once per roll. So I'm not going to be able to come back and do those when I do my miner, which is mean I'm going to have to do just that many more leaves. I don't think it'll be very many, maybe 3 to 6, and I should be off to the races. So with that in mind, it's time to get to the leaves themselves. The leaf vendor here is where all of these people who have discovered just how wonderful this is, and this leaf meat here actually has Fieldcraft leaves and Tradecraft leaves, and you can see that they're done in even numbered levels, 70, 72, 74, 76, and 78. You're going to need to do each one 2 full rounds, so 6 leaves per level, and you should be leveled up no problem. It may take even less than that if you are able to get high quality to turn in over there, and if you have a couple of the following consumables. Now, you're going to want to have your free company buff if it's available to you. I went without because we have ours set to battle because the vast majority of our free company is still leveling through the MSQ. But that would be really nice to have. But that actually overrides, is my understanding, with the second tier of survival manual. There's 3 that share this tier. There's the company survival that are sold for Grand Company seals, and then there's the ones that cost scripts, which are the next ones up. If you don't get the revised ones, the current ones, they're going to fade really fast. So I blew through those. The revised ones lasted a great deal longer. And then you also have these squadron survival manuals, which are given from squadrons. Unlike these, they don't actually wear off after a certain amount of experience has been gained. They actually just last a full 2 hours, and it's a flat 20% gained. So it's pretty big deal. If you have anything remaining to spend scripts or money on, be sure that either with Grand Company seals or money you go buy cordials. Otherwise, with scripts, you're going to want to buy those high cordials. These also come from other sources, like sometimes they're rewards from leaves and stuff, but you're going to need a pretty big quantity. So I think scripts is going to be your best bet there. I started the expansion with 95. I'm down to 65. So I'm down 30, but I know that I was getting them from leaves along the way. So it's not a huge number, but definitely worth mentioning. Now, as you get these leaves, they're going to take you out into the world. They're going to take you to various zones. And one of the things you can do as you fly leaf to leaf is if you pass over a node you've never done, be sure you grab each ingredient at least once. You get a big chunk of experience for that. It's not really worth, from an experience per hour standpoint, doing much more than that, even though some of these items can be worth a pretty good chunk of change as they're used in leveling crafters throughout this experience. But without looking them up, you are taking a gamble, because because some of them are worth next to nothing, while others can sell for a great deal. So just be sure that you're kind of aware of that. And that really should set you. These leaves here, like I said, it's 6 per level, so 60 of these, and you should be at cap, especially if you're doing the first of a roll. So Botanist was my first of the Gatherers, and so when I go to Miner, it may take that full 60, especially because I also have run out of rested experience at this point. So be sure you're logging out when you have this moon to get it back, but if you're like me and you've been playing a lot since the expansion, if you have not run out already, you are probably coming up on the end of your rested experience, and it will probably be a pretty substantial amount of time before I take enough of a break to get it back in any meaningful sense. The last thing that you want to check, guys, is that you want to make sure that you're completing your challenge log, so that you do that by going to challenge log here and the crafting and gathering, and you can see that these will grant it says no experience because I'm on this class, but if I were to switch to like my level 70 Fisher, for example, you can see that by completing both of these, I'd be looking at that kind of a pretty big chunk of change. I'd be looking at easily over 1 million, which is relative to your level. So I'd be looking at about 10% of a level just for completing those. Those should complete themselves if you're just doing the gathering in a week. Really, other than that, I don't think going back to doing anything in Stormblood is worth doing because the experience on it has been cut way, way down to doing it post 70. So just get into Shadowbringers, enjoy the beautiful zones, level up your gatherers early on, because any materials you do decide to gather along the way or at cap, like maps, for example, are selling for enormous chunks of money. And it's a great way to make that early money and be comfortable all expansion with the amount of gil that you have. My name is Chris with Work to Game. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope this helps you get your gatherers to cap very, very quickly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
We really appreciate you watching. We really, really, really do. We really appreciate you watching. We really, really do. A 30-second end screen is so long. I don't know how to fill all this time.